and welcome to Geeketeers. I am your hostess, Ilisia Adams, and I am here with a very special guest. I will let him introduce himself.
Oh God. Okay. Hi. I am a writer, director, producer, filmmaker, showrunner, jack of all trades, master of none. You'll probably know me from doing Cops and Monsters, if you know me at all, which is a supernatural police thriller. Thank you. Nice little plug there. Not available anymore. I've got two. So Cops and Monsters was a supernatural thriller. That's easy for me to say.
You say was, but it still is. It's still in the background.
It's on the back burner for now. Because I'm charging forward with a new project called Origins, which is a mythological fantasy.
Which is going to be the main source of our discussion today.
Yes.
But we will do a little bit of Cops and Monsters as well.
I have no answers for you. I can tell you nothing.
Only stuff that you're allowed to say. Like, don't say anything that's like top secret. You know.
Okay.
Because I'm sure there's plenty of top secret stuff going on.
So I'm not to tell you that David Tennant's going to be in it.
Yeah, probably best not to say that.
Okay, cool.
I know there's a little promo thing. I haven't watched it yet. I think I had internet problems at the time, and then I guess
our little 60-second trailer. But yeah, we did that all in a computer. That was all done by Leela, so that was pretty damn cool. So watch it.
So it's all done in lockdown, on a tight budget and everything, which is quite an achievement.
So that was the teaser trailer. I'm really happy with the teaser trailer, and it's gone down quite well. So
I'm glad. I know that the fan reaction on Twitter and everything has been really good. People are like, really excited.
No, it's good, and every day more people find us and discover us. Yeah, so we did it for 700-ish. Yeah. So Layla did all her visual effects stuff. Gemma McAdams did our sound design and sound editing. Isaac Baker did the music, and then Shannon Davidson, Helen Quinn, Karen Barkey, and Linda McLeod did the voices.
How do you keep all those names in your head? How do you do that?
It's bigger on the inside. It's just I'm so used to that. It's so important to me that everyone who works on it gets a shot, so people know that they're working on it. So
that's good.
So she recorded the dialogue in Gaelic, and we put it out. But then we put out a Gaelic-only trailer because there's a study that said that if we're not careful, the Gaelic language in Scotland will die out in 10 years. Oh. So we're trying to stop that. I don't speak it.
That's pretty horrible.
So it's important to me that we do the Gaelic representation. Like, it wasn't a conscious choice, I suppose. It was just when I read the article and I was like, well, we're setting it in the Highlands anyway, so let's put some Gaelic in. So I decided that Alia would speak Gaelic. So that's in the script. And so Linda did the Gaelic version for us and translated some stuff so I could tweet out in Gaelic. But now people are tweeting back at me in Gaelic, and I'm like,
and you have no idea what they're saying.
Not a clue. Yes.
We have an Indiegogo that we want to be promoting today, really.
Yes.
For you say it's a working title, so it's not actually going to be called Origins, sort of when it's made.
It'll be something Origins or Origins something to make it a bit more. You type in Origins and you'll find everything and anything.
That's very true.
What did he say? What did he say to me today? He said to me, "Oh yes, he wants it to be 2 words and possibly in Gaelic." So I might find some sort of Scottish Gaelic-y word for like protector or something.
As long as we can type it. Because I don't have a Gaelic keyboard, so...
That'll be fine. about Scottish culture and
Yes.
history and mythology, and it's pro-Gaelic, and
Well, there's not really anything else like it out there.
I've been doing so much research on this that I've gone back as far as 843 AD, when Scotland became Scotland, and how our mythical beings, the Guardians, which again, Marvel has ruined that slightly because Guardians is such a great name.
There is just so much out there in so many countries and so many cultures, and that's what you're tapping into. I love that. That's so cool.
That's the plan anyway. And then because there is so much mythology, and like we have standing stones that are in, like some of that's in Brave, but there's tons of them all over the place. And then you've got the Stone of Destiny, which has got some ties to the Druids and mythology as well. And like there's just so much potential for magic and mythology that we could tie into and tell different stories from. I mean, there is still personal drama. Like, we still have like a fractured daughter-father relationship, and a relationship between Avril and Carwyn, and they're struggling to figure out their relationship as well. And then you've got Effie.
So it's not just mythology; you've got characterization as well.
Yeah, there's actually,
is going to be an important part of it.
Yeah, her dad. Effie's dad's hiding a secret, and her and her, the mum and dad are having a bit of an argument about it, and you don't find out what that is straight away. And then you've got Effie who wants to. They just get off the village, off the island, and go see the world because she's not done that. But her fiance wants to stay and help his dad run the business, and you've got all that stuff going on. And then she finds out that she's a superhero. So it's just as you do. So yeah, so it's not just swords and sorcery. There is a bit of kitchen sink drama in there.
Well, if there's anything wrong with swords and sorcery, I love swords and sorcery.
So yeah, we're raising money to do a proof of concept trailer, which is going to let us shoot 6 scenes out of the first draft that I've written of the movie, and then we'll cut together a little sizzle reel type thing, and we'll start pitching that to producers and production companies and Netflix and Amazon and the like to see if anybody will want it. I'm not tying myself down to one. I don't care.
Anyone!
It's basically just a concept trailer where it will show some of the characters, some of the scenes, some of the locations, props, costumes, whatever, and it's just to give you a flavour of what the world is and who the characters are and what the story is without giving too much away. Just when people watch it, they just get really excited about it and want more. I suspect we're going to go down the Deadpool approach when it comes to this, but we'll see. Oh no, that 5-minute scene leaked. Who did that?
What a shame.
Oh, naughty people. So yeah, that's what Sizzle Reel is.
The first Indiegogo did so well, like it just exploded.
Jaw-dropping. Jaw.
Absolutely exploded. Like you got the funds really, really quickly. I was really impressed by that, especially during all this lockdown coronavirus madness.
Yeah, we wanted £700 so we could do the teaser trailer that we made in lockdown and some concept art. That's all we wanted. And then we ended up with £4,000, which was a bit of a surprise.
Mind blown.
Most of it is gone because we paid for the trailer, the voiceover actor, the concept art. We've started the...
You see, you know that there are these big budget films which cost, millions and billions of dollars. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And then you expect indie film to be like a few £100 or something, but it's really not.
That's slanderous of C in court. No, that's...
it's really not, is it? It does still cost quite a bit.
Let me break it down quickly. For a 3-day shoot, with the cast and crew that I need, is going to cost us £7,000. And I've already managed to pay some of that with the sizzle reel, because that's gone towards building a website for us and some more comic art that we needed. The visual effects were more complicated than we thought it was going to be, so we needed a bit more money there. I decided to throw in Gaelic, and that was a bit more money to get that done. And we've paid half the costume budget, I've paid half the prop budget, and I've paid for the start of our Scottish Witch, our Bean and Eek. I've started to pay for the prosthetics of that.
We have seen some of the prosthetics on the Patreon.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. Really, really cool.
And we're doing the fight rehearsal, so that's really cool. The money just goes. Like it just goes so fast.
Comes and then it goes.
Yeah, it's
Gone.
nice because obviously I've got a bank account for Origins, and I was like, ooh, $4,000, and I was like, oh, 200.
The casting call recently for the film, and you were saying that there was like a ridiculous amount of people and how difficult it has been to, you know, to sort of slowly move that number down and pick someone.
220 applications.
That's insane.
68 video editions for 4 parts that we were casting.
Dang.
It's not just me. There's 2 other producers on this, so it's
at least the decision isn't just yours then, because I think I would be completely overwhelmed if I had to choose one person out of like 220. I swear I could not make that decision.
Who I'm speaking to out in Australia, he just really knows what he's doing. We were on Skype for about 2.5 hours.
Yikes.
And honestly, he's like, it's a game, it's a movie, it's a board game, it's a comic, it's a podcast.
That's insane.
Many other things that it could be all at the same time. But the goal, the dream is
media, definitely.
Cross transmedia.
That's what he called it, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's got to be global, so it needs to be locally appealing but globally.
Right.
Which apparently, according to the Cannes
making up words and
according
phrases.
to the Cannes Film Festival, that's a thing. Because I was there, I need to spend a wee bit of time just going through all of it. So,
no pressure.
I
That was sarcasm.
I think it'll be fine. I think he'll guide me through a lot of it. So, we shall see.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. People sitting at home and watching this, tell them why they should donate.
So I can
pledge to the Indiegogo.
So I can feed myself. No, I'm quite comfortable.
Pitch me.
So basically, if you believe in indie film, or if you believe in indie talent, or if you want to get behind something that isn't Marvel or something that's already got lots of money, like I don't know, the new Batman film, and you just want to support indie creators who are trying to do something original and unique, then you should give some pennies. And we're only asking for $6,000. It's not much, really, in the grand scheme of things. COVID-19 buggered us all. If we get to September and the money's in and we're ready to go, etc., but it's not going to be safe to do so. We will push it back. So, but the TV world is getting back to normal. I'm getting asked to do stuff now, so it's. People have just got to a stage we're like, well, we have to work. We can't put this off any longer.
Of course,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You know, if it does fly, if Origins flies and it goes the way we want it to go and we have a movie and a series and whatever, there's going to be so much work for people, for actors and for crew. Hopefully in Scotland, we're talking about, it might be Scotland and Ireland, it might be Ireland, we don't know. We might do some stuff in Scotland. But potentially, if we get a series out of it, that's 8 months work on the doorstep. We genuinely, take me out of this equation, we genuinely have amazing actors on board on this who are just brilliant and enthusiastic, and they are so talented and so brilliant, and they're bringing this to life already, and we've not shot a single frame. The costume designer Vivian and her assistant Gwen are coming up with stunning costume ideas, both period pieces of like 16th, 17th, 18th century Scotland and present day costumes for the characters we've got in the scissor reel that are unique and brilliant and say so much about the character. Then we've got Megan and Paige who are creating wells and sacred books and designing monsters and doing all that great stuff and like figuring out what the scene's going to look like and planning everything and buying all the props and making all the props. And then you've got Callum at Gibbet FX who's making our Scottish Witch, and that again is just original and unique and looks fantastic. And then you've got the producers who are winning all the elements, kind of rallying it all and putting it all together. And we've got an amazing fight team who are giving it a cut price to do 2 really good fights involving swords and shields and monsters, and they're doing a great job. And I'm sure I've missed people. Our brilliant photographers, we've got camera assistants, and we've got makeup people, and we just have, I'm a DOP, and
these people need to be paid.
need to get paid minimum wage, so that the fact that I get to, this isn't going to solve their problems,
no.
but it's certainly going to get us back on set.
Just a little bit of help.
It's going to get us back on set. Everyone's getting to do their job again for a little while, which is good for your mental health. when we inevitably hit phase 2,
are there still going to be all these precautions that you have to take?
we'll keep our distance, and
Of course.
when we're not, the crew
Try not
will,
to breathe on each other.
yeah, we'll all have masks on behind the camera. We'll have a limited crew. Everyone will have the temperature checked before they come on set and stuff. And there'll be hand sanitizer every 15 minutes. And the actors will have their masks on right up to the point where they have to take them off. And everyone will sign an agreement to say that we've done everything we can, and if you get sick, it's not our fault. So no, we'll be as safe as we can be, definitely.
Good.
To convince the people who sign the checks, we need to have a massive fan base behind us before we even start. So if you're watching this and you've made it this far, well done. But also get on the Twitter, get on the Facebook, get on the Instagram, get on the Patreon. But if people really want to see Origins happen, then we need to get everyone behind it. It will literally be a show that is made and a film by fans.
I was reading through like reviews of some of your films on IMDb and on Amazon, and it seems to be we have a Marmite situation. You get these one-star reviews. You get these one-star reviews from people who clearly don't understand the concept of indie film. Like, they're clearly expecting Avengers Endgame kind of thing. Like, they're like, oh, the special effects are really, really bad. Like, did a 5-year-old make this? Really? You think you can do better, mate?
An argument always is, don't
and then there's the 5-star reviews from people, a lot of Scottish people, I find, particularly, saying, you know, it's really great to have Scottish films that are of this quality, and please keep making more, you know, it was really, really nice to read. Those 1-star reviews, though, it's like, oh god, face palm.
I used to read them, but no more. I don't.
Yes, do not. I had to, because, you know, obviously for research for the interview, you know, I really wanted to see kind of what the fan reaction was, and yeah, those people, they don't count because they clearly don't know what they're watching. I've been a fan of Cops and Monsters for years and years. It's good.
Thank you.
1-star reviews by trolls aside,
we don't talk about them.
No, they don't exist. They're just morons. I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, of course. Their opinion is just wrong.
Yeah. We have had genuine reviews from review websites and stuff who given it 3 or 4 stars and whatever, and out of 5.
Awards too.
We have won awards.
Yes.
Most recently, best low budget feature and best web films at LA. Although hilariously, people thought that was a lie.
Awards are very difficult to fake.
We're on the website. We have a certificate. On Cops and Monsters, I wrote 4 of the 9 episodes.
And you have different writers for the other episodes.
Yeah, Debbie Moon wrote an episode. James D. Harding wrote an episode. Phil Lawrence wrote an episode. Roland Moore wrote our Christmas episode,
There's a Christmas episode? I totally haven't seen that. I have not seen that.
It's a zombie Christmas episode.
Yay! I have to see that. I totally have to see that.
9 episodes of that show. We've got another 5 scripts done. But when we were doing Cops and Monsters Series 2, we put out a call for writers, and we had 500 scripts sent to us.
That's insane! Did you have to read every single one of those?
We had a system of how to whittle it down.
So you didn't read every single one then?
We read, I think between me and James, we read 100. But a lot of people didn't read the rules, so you're not allowed to, it's not permitted to send a spec script based on the show that you're submitting for. So you might think you're the best Doctor Who writer in the world, don't send your Doctor Who script. They will put it in the bin immediately.
Ah, okay.
Or if then a Doctor Who episode comes on the air which is identical to your idea, then that's legal fidgywidginess that you don't want to get involved in. So we whittled it down, we interviewed 18 people we hired to write on it. When the last Cops and Monsters Kickstarter failed, I was a very broken man. And I was like, I'm fine, clearly nobody cares about more Cops and Monsters. And we just put out what I consider to be the best one as well, Remembrance. And Yeah, so I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then I was like, okay, we'll do one more. So when we were in lockdown and we couldn't do anything, I read a great tweet from another writer, Ivy, on Twitter, who said, maybe now is the time to turn your scripts into audio scripts.
The good thing about doing an audio drama is you're opening yourself up to new people as well.
Yes.
Because that's a whole other market. It's like the difference between a film and a television show, or a book and a film. You know, it's you'll have established fans coming to it, and then you'll have new people that are like, "Ooh, I like audio dramas. What's this?"
And then they can go back to the series. And,
exactly.
Yes.
I liked the audio dramas. Oh, there's a TV show.
So I reached out to Philip Lawrence, who writes for Big Finish and EastEnders and everything else. And I said to him, what do you think about writing one? And he goes, yeah, I'd love to write one. So we kind of got that, and I spoke to my sound designer, Robert, and I said, what do you think? And he grumbled and said it was fine. And I spoke to Sophie Aldred, who's obviously Ace in Doctor Who and who's in Cops. And I was like, Sophie, would you be up for giving me some time to
well,
do
she's
audio?
got plenty of experience with Big Finish. And
set up, yeah. So she was like, oh yes, darling, 100% yes. And she was like, oh yes. And we're probably going to do 3 at first, and then we'll see how it goes. They'll be free to, no, that's a lie, you'll have to pay for them, because all the money's going to go to a charity of my choice.
Yay.
Probably the Glasgow's Children's Charity, because when we do the Ghostbusters cosplay work, that's where all the money goes to. It's just timing, because we wrote them all during lockdown and everything was a bit iffy, and then Origins came about, which is taking up all of my time. On the way back, she was walking, and I was like, I'm going to call her up. So I went and had a chat with her. I was like, Sophie, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I love you. I went down on one knee, no.
I'm not a stalker, I promise.
But no, we got chatting, and I was really nervous to meet her because she was my first companion, and I loved her to bits. And then I emailed her agent, and we got her in Cops and Monsters, and she was just the nicest person in the world. And then every time I see her at convention, now she's like, Fraser, darling, hello, mwah, mwah. Which is lovely. And she's like, oh, come sit next to me, come keep me company, and that's really nice. But when fans see, another fan sitting next to their favourite Doctor Who companion or whatever, they think it's okay to do that as well, because it's obviously easier for them. It's more like to know that there's someone there or whatever. But and it gets to points where there's like 7 people there, and I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to give you some peace. I'll come back later. Colin Baker was an absolute darling as well. So, who he said, why am I not in Cops and Monsters?
What, seriously?
Genuinely, in February, back that we were at Edinburgh, and he said, what do you do? And I said, oh, I make a web series. So Sophie's in it. And he was like, oh, and why am I not in it?
That's fantastic.
And I said, I did try, Colin. Who did you speak to? And I said, well, I spoke to your agent. Which one? And I said,
which one? You have multiple agents?
I can't remember, Colin, but I did email him. I didn't get a response. Okay, Colin at na. And I was like, oh. He goes, email me, and but don't take long. I won't be alive for long.
Oh, see, he jokes about dying so often. I'm like, don't joke about that.
So hopefully we'll get him in the. I wrote my Cops and Monsters audio with Ellen and Innes, and hopefully Colin, and Phil's wrote one with Simon Weir and Sophie's character as well.
Power.
Yeah, it's really good. So hopefully we'll get all that put together, and then I've got another couple of people writing some scripts.
I mentioned earlier that I've been binging Wolfblood. You've got the main lady that writes Wolfblood, who is clearly very talented. I looked at her IMDb yesterday, and I was like, whoa.
Debbie's a goddess.
Very cool. Like, has she worked on Cops and Monsters or anything like that? Or?
Debbie wrote the first episode of series 2, which is free on YouTube. Cops and Monsters Remembrance, the best episode I've ever.
That's your favourite, is it?
Yeah.
That's great.
She even took a day in our virtual writers' room when we were plotting out series 2. So she was intricate in that. So the ship was guided by Debbie, and that was really nice. That woman should be writing for Doctor Who. There's no doubt about it, and it's an atrocity. She has not written because I don't think everybody's a good fit for Doctor Who.
She's written for BBC before.
Yes.
So she's on their radar.
Yes.
Just kind of gotta go those extra
She was
hopefully.
she was very close to getting an episode of Doctor Who, and I think that's all I can say about it. But she should 100% be writing for Doctor Who, and eventually running it. So because women doctor, women showrunner, just
Well, yeah,
makes sense.
we haven't had a female showrunner yet, have we? So
Debbie's amazing. Rachel Teat followed me on Twitter, and I followed her back, and we got chatting, and I asked would she be up for doing a part, and it was a bit of it was a bit, schedules were a bit hectic, and we were obviously stuck to a certain schedule, and she was stuck to a certain schedule, and we finally made it happen. So she came in on episode 4, and then I was on a taxi with Rachel because I picked her up at the train station. We got a taxi to the hotel, and she said, "Oh yeah, Leona really wants to do it, but she's worried about stepping on my toes." And I was like, "No, I'd love to have Leona in it." So I messaged Leona and I said, "Look, I heard that you're interested." So we wrote her a part, I think.
it's
And
great
then
when you write a part specifically for someone that you like, that you
yeah,
you know that you're a fan of and everything.
you're advised not to do it. You're told
Why? Did they teach
because
you that in writers' school or something? That's the first I've heard of that.
no writer school. The first rule of writer school is that there is no writer school. Second rule is paragraphs are important. No, it's in case you don't get the person that you write it for, and
That
then
makes sense.
it's. I think it'll be. I mean, Debbie says it's good to have someone in mind, but don't assume.
But if you've got the person on board and then you write the part for them, that works.
Yes.
Are any of them getting involved with this film?
So Leona Vaughn, who plays Jana, in seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. So Leona was another person that you're not supposed to write for in Origins, and I could not write.
But you did, didn't you?
She's a ballsy Welsh woman, and she's just fantastic. So I wrote her as Carbon, who is the girlfriend of Haverhill. And I sent Leona the script weeks ago, and she emailed me there, and she was like, "Fraser, it's epic. I want to do it." That's okay. So we had a Zoom call, and I explained it all, and said, "Look, I can't afford you for this as a reel because I'd need to fly you up from Swansea, and then I'd have to put you up in a hotel, and everything's a bit meh. But if it goes to film or if it goes to series, then it's you, and I don't care if they turn around and say it's either you either replace Leona or you're not having a show. I'm not having a show then, because she's got talent, she's got credits, she's got credibility,
You see the range of emotion in her performance on Wolfblood. It's pretty amazing, and she can do the action as well.
And I also have a love affair with Wales and all that is Welsh, and that will never leave me. So I definitely want Leona around because she just speaks Welsh. That's lovely. So I'll tell you a story about another filmmaker. Names will not be mentioned, right? And this was years ago. We were doing our first ever web series, and we got permission to film in a graveyard called the Necropolis in Glasgow. High up above the city, beautiful views across the city, and we got permission, so we were filming the last episode of that series up there, and we had a fight scene, and it was great. And on the Friday, I contacted the council, and I said, blah, 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 we want to do some filming, we don't have any money. And they were like, well, it'll be X amount of money for the day. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll find that money somewhere. And they sent out the email that said, you have permission to film here, but never ever sent out the invoice, which was nice for us. So we went on the Saturday and we filmed all the scenes. Now we found out years later, another filmmaker knew that we were doing it, went up the day later on the Sunday to film their own stuff, and then when security pulled them up, they were, "Oh yeah, we were still be filmed. We were here yesterday."
That's cheeky.
Arsehole.
That is very cheeky.
But they've been caught doing something similar twice because one of their actors, his her doesn't matter. You're not going to find it. One of their actors was working on another project of what they were doing, and they needed prop guns, and so they went to the prop gun shop because that's the thing. And
apparently that's
like,
the thing. Okay.
hello, I'm here to collect the guns. And they were like, okay, well, who said you could take them? And they said, oh, this person. not thinking that the person would then phone the person and said, "Hi there, I've got such and such here," and they've just said that you've given them permission to take guns, and the person, friend of mine, another filmmaker, said, "I've never heard of them before in my life." And then a little bit later, my friend whose name was used met the person who used their name, and when he saw them walking towards him, his face was like just dropped.
Rabbit
and
in
he
headlights.
turned and ran away. Yeah.
I didn't do it.
So it's like, just don't do it. Don't be an idiot. It's getting better now because the people who were idiots are kind of fading out.
Good.
And not doing as much, or if they are, they're being very, very quiet. So there is this kind of new generation of indie filmmakers in Scotland who I am connecting with a little bit more, and there's still the odd idiot, but it does seem to be a little bit better. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to tell stories and get it out to an audience. That's all we're trying to do. And we can either share the toys and share the advice and share the help, or you can be an idiot about it and you'll be left out of the party. So it's that simple.
Which one are you pointing at all these other people?
Out of stubbornness, I'm not going to that party.
I didn't want to go anyway.
Oh, the cheek of him, he's buying everyone drinks. We made a film called Night is Day, which is on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime, it is.
And we were filming a scene in a park with scavenger demons, and they had like broken, ripped up hoodies and jeans, and they had bright purple makeup on, and they had horns and stuff. And so 3 of them walking through the park to go to where we were filming, and people just walk by and going, "All right," not a blink of an eye. Not only am I a supporter of independent filmmaking, I'm a fan of supporter of women in film in particular, and trying to get the much needed equal pay that has to happen.
Can't believe that's still a thing.
It shouldn't be. It's mad. So I'll be heavily pitching.
Totally not a thing with your company and your films, obviously.
I mean, the majority of our crew are women, and the majority of our cast are women, and that's not me. Look at me, I'm a feminist.
Is that deliberate, or that's just coincidence?
Me and my producer Lindsay and Drew, we just pick best people. And it doesn't matter.
It happens that a lot of them are women.
Doesn't matter what you've got going on underneath your trousers.
As long as you've got the talent.
Super talent. It's harder for us to do, like, BAME representation is really hard in Scotland because white people are the majority. Not like whenever I do my casting calls, I never specifically say you must be white and Scottish.
That's good.
I never ever say that. And we did have a few people from the BAME community audition for a couple of the roles, and they were great, but just not right for the parts. And there's nothing else to it. And someone tried to bait me on Twitter a wee bit about it, going, "Oh, so you're only casting Caucasian women?"
Trolls again.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, and like the only reason, anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah,
does this casting call say I need a white blonde chick? No, it does not.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh, like I am an ally. Can we not? Can we just not? So yeah, I want to be as representative as possible, but you also don't want to tick boxes, because you don't want to hire somebody just because of their skin. Someone said to me, like, how do you feel as like a middle-aged, like a mid-30s white person trying to make it in the industry when they're trying so hard to do it the other way? And I said, look, I said my approach will not change. I will continue to work hard and learn how to be better and work harder, and I will try and earn my spot. And if someone is better than me at the job, then they deserve it. It's that simple. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter if they're trans or gay or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. If they're better at the job, they deserve it.
Can you tell me a little bit about like how you got into filmmaking? You said you've been doing it for about, was it a decade? How did you get into it? Did you go to film school? Because there are film schools.
There are film schools.
Did you do any of that stuff, or did you just kind of...
No, I went to college. So what happened to me was I'd always been over imaginative. I used to write short stories and stuff, and then
That's not a bad thing.
And then I watched a movie called Guyver: Dark Hero, which was based on the manga Guyver. It's cheesy 90s monster B-movie stuff, but I love it so much. And I met the actor who plays Guyver,
Cool.
Sean, and he actually wrote like the first X-Men film that came out.
What?
Yeah. And he also wrote a cracking Black Widow script that's obviously never going to see the light of day. So anyway, the guy who wrote and directed Guyver, Steve Wang, I got in touch with him through social media and we started chatting. And this was before social media was what it was now.
Did you use MySpace?
Maybe. It might have been LiveJournal. It was LiveJournal.
Oh wow, LiveJournal. Oh my goodness.
My account still exists. It's all in there. So if I ever want to trip back through time, I'm hopping on there.
That's fantastic.
Anyway, so I got in touch with him and he sent me a script to show me how to write scripts. And then eventually I ended up doing a training program at the BBC called E-Force, which was a wonderful thing. Then I went off to college for 2 years to do TV production and operations. And then I started my own business, Celebrity Films. And then a few months later I got hit by a car.
Sure, let's just throw that one in there.
Smashed my face, my arm, and my leg, so I've got metal.
And you recovered, obviously.
Recovered after 6 months, and then started to do the web series thing. And I'd always wanted to do like a superhero sci-fi web series thing, because again, it wasn't done in Scotland. And I remember meeting up with so many other filmmakers and whatever at the time, and they're like, "You're never going to do it." Like I remember just
charming.
And now I realise it was just like, oh, if he thinks he can do it, then we can do it. So I'm going to tell him that you can't do it. I can't even remember who I met now. But anyway, they're all dead. No.
They will be eating their words, won't they, hopefully?
So I did the web series thing, and then I did two web series. There was time apart between series 1 and series 2, and it was just fun.
Okay, I want to talk briefly about what inspires you and like your dreams for the future and stuff. Like we'll go outside of this film and the TV shows and stuff that you have worked on, and like where do you like dream a bit? Tell me more about you.
I don't have time for sleep. Like stuff that inspired me like growing up was like Buffy and Angel, Firefly, so the Whedonverse, and what else did I watch? Like when I was younger, like the Flash and stuff. When it was the original Flash.
Oh, the original Flash.
Yeah, with that cool. I grew up on like many geeky kids. I grew up on Hitchhiker's Guide and Doctor Who and Star Wars and Star Trek and all these wonderful geeky shows.
Kind of the usual geeky stuff, really.
It is, and like Roswell was another thing that I grew up on. I was like in my teens, but then, and I just like as I said to our Australian producer, I said that what I want to do is to create an IP or a show or a film where the fan base can absolutely just jump on it and love it, and then when we face cancellation, we'll save it. Like all good shows, and that's kind of just important to me. But yeah, that's what I grew up on. That's what I love. That was my inspiration. I kind of want to do like a Russell T Davies and just have a legacy for Origins and whatever happens after that. I said I hope I'm not creatively tapped out by the end of Origins. I would like to have that sort of fandom, and not in an egotistical people must worship me kind of way. It's more I just want people to have something that they can enjoy. I just want to build that sort of fandom, whether that be Origins or something else. I'm hoping it's Origins because I'm putting a lot of work into it. But don't we all?
What are your favourite indie films that aren't yours?
Sacrilege. I'm obviously a big advocate of indie film. Clique by Gary Hewitt. And Electric Man, which is a really funny Scotch comedy. And Not Another Happy Ending was good with Karen Gillan. And Fast Romance by Carter Ferguson.
What else are you working on that you can tell me about?
Nothing.
That you can tell me about. I'm just going to add that little disclaimer there.
I'm writing She and Her, which is about a mother-daughter pop singing group. So the mother used to be a rock star. The mother used to be a rock star in the 80s, and now it's fading. The daughter's the pop star who's all big and famous. The mum gets sick. They do a charity single together. It goes huge. And they go on a tour, and our film kicks off on the last night of the tour. and there's an interview between the mother and the daughter and the press, and it flashes back to like half an hour earlier in the changing room and all the chaos that ensues around it. So Sophie Aldred is who I want to be the mum, and Leona is who I want to be the daughter. So
Kind of see a little bit of similarity there in the way they look.
and
I can see that.
Leona messaged me and went, "Is there singing?" I went, "There's singing." And she went, 1,000% yes. So yeah.
Is she a good singer then?
I have no idea. No, I don't
No
have.
idea.
No, she's got her own YouTube channel and she does covers of songs. And
I will have to look that up.
It's a straight drama, so there's no monsters in it, so it's a bit weird for me to write it.
It's a bit outside what you normally do.
I was like, oh, I need a straight drama that's not got anything.
Nothing supernatural.
Weird in it, yeah, and it's a struggle, but I will go back to it. I'm working.
Normal.
I keep writing it, and I'm
use
like,
my little speech marks there.
just like, when do the monsters come in? Apart from that, I've been earmarked to do some stuff I can't talk. So
yeah, see, that's why I did that little small print there.
I've been speaking to some people in higher places in certain.
You know a guy who knows a guy.
Products. I entered a competition for something, and then I contacted a producer of it, and I said I've entered the competition, and he said you shouldn't have entered the competition because we know who you are.
We know who you are. We like you. You don't need to enter the competition.
And they were like, you should have just pitched directly, and I was like, well, who did I pitch to? And he goes, well, I would be a good start. So I sent him some stuff, and they were like, yeah, I might have something for you at the end of summer, but
Awesome.
Can't say nothing.
That's absolutely fine. And what about if you could give tips to people wanting to, like, what would you say to people who want to get started in the industry?
Don't do it, get a real job.
Really?
It's a lot of hard work, and I don't want the competition. No. Just keep learning. Get the right people around you. The right team behind you will make anything possible. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't feed the trolls. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because you'll learn from them. As long as you're willing to learn from them. Pick up a camera, go make something. There's nothing to stop you. Just go make a film. The best thing you can do, honestly, is take part in the 48-hour film challenge, wherever that is, in your area, and do a couple of them, and you will learn so fast.
Awesome.
That's it. That's my advice. The old man has spoken. The old bitter filmmaker has spoken.
Is there anything that you want to add? Is there anything that you feel like we haven't covered?
No, just thanks for your ongoing support. It's really appreciated. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate that too. And just anyone who doesn't leave me a 1-star review, thank you.
So 2-star reviews are okay then?
Please better.
Well, thank you. It's been lovely having you.
Thank you.
You're a very, very busy man. I'm just glad you managed to find the time to do this.
It was a pleasure and a joy. Cool.
It's been great having you. This has been Geeketeers. I've been Ilisia.
I've been Fraser, I think. Have I?
You think?
Yes. 99% sure.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.